Hello, everybody, and welcome to the BC Podcast. I'm here with...
Myself, Deus, thank you very much. Last week we got some response. We've actually got someone with us today who goes by the name of Stone.
Hello.
And no, not Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I know he does his own podcast thing, but, like, we ain't that big. So Stone will be talking with us about our usual sort of things. Speaking of which, as our usual sort of staple is, games we've been playing this week. So, Stone, would you like to hit us off? What games or game have you been playing mostly this week?
Yeah.
Do you want to know new games or games that I've just been playing in general?
Just games you've been playing.
Minecraft, I've been playing Wizard 101 lately. I just got into that. And
Right.
Online games, Pirate's Glory and things like that. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
No, I haven't. Actually, tell us a bit more about that.
It's an online text-based game. Basically, you're a fleet commander and you control fleets and you can choose to trade or fight with other people and earn money that way. And it's actually
I've never heard of that before. Is it a free-to-play game or is there? Because that sounds pretty kick-ass.
It's a free-to-play game, but you can throw some money into it for credits to buy the voodoo cards, which you can cast on other people and do all sorts of random crap to them.
Give a link of that to Sonic for when he puts up the video, because we'll put a link down in the description for that, because I want to play that game, never mind any of the rest of you.
Yeah, I'll also put
as
it
for myself,
in the podcast comments, too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a text-based
As for myself,
game, so it also does. It's also very fast to play.
Yeah, well, it sounds it. Well, myself, on the other hand, I've been playing a little bit more Binary Domain, which I got for free from the Make War Not Love campaign. Thank you, Sega. Plug. I got the ending that I wanted. I got the ending that I wanted from that video game. I really enjoyed it. It was a good fun laugh. Some bits were a bit annoying. There were some really annoying quick time events that were just... I fucking hate quick time events. I've also been playing more Undertale, and I'm currently stuck on Muffet, who is a boss that is very difficult.
Little Miss
at least
Muffet
for me.
sat on her tuffet and shoved it right up her butt.
No. Muffet's one of the monster enemies who douses you in tea and you turn purple, and it changes the mechanics. It's one of the things I really like about Undertale. If you're into your old school RPGs, I mean, anyone else who's listened to this, there's a million people talking about Undertale. I really enjoy it because I like the actual story elements of it. The gameplay itself has been a bit annoying recently, but that's just because I fucking hate Muffet. She's so goddamn hard for me. I don't like Outlast bosses, as it were, where you're just supposed to continue on and survive for X number of seconds. I find that really annoying. It doesn't really go anywhere with it. Other things I've been playing this week, I actually got back into Guild Wars 2, which is free to play these days, although I paid for my copy, so I've got a nice shiny set of armor for that. Sonic, what have you been playing this week?
I've been mainly...
Oh, it's just a skin, by the way.
I've been mainly playing mainly just some more Pokemon ROMs and Minecraft, and I tried to record some Don't Starve with Deus, but that episode will probably never surface.
Yeah.
Windows Movie Maker is not a good way to edit videos.
No, it was it was a bit silly. But speaking of Pokemon, I know you're a fan of the ROMs and stuff like that, and I played the games back in the day.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. But this week we had Pokemon Sun and Moon announced as the next generation. Yeah, well, it's 20 years old. I actually remember the original cartridges when I was sitting in when I was back in primary school, because that's how long ago it was. I was in primary school. For anyone in Britain knows what that is. Puts me around about 10 years old. Almost. No, it wasn't 10 years old.
I still have one of the original cartridges, one of the yellow cartridges.
The yellow cartridges should work. The original batteries on the blues and reds should be dead by now, though, which is a bit of a shame, to say the least.
Mine still work.
Oh, God.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. The yellow ones were released a bit later. I actually really enjoyed yellow. I liked the series as a kid, actually. Literally, for anyone British listening to it who watched SMTV during the 90s, there's the whole Misty thing which was ridiculous. I really enjoyed that. You guys won't get it. If you get the chance, you need to look up SMTV and Pokemon. Holy crap, it was hilarious back in the day.
Back in the day,
there was
that
even
makes it sound even older than
yeah,
you actually
literally
are.
back in the day. Oh, shut up. They actually even had a competition where the winner got to go, like the winner and Ant and Dec, who were presenting it, all went to Japan and all got a Mew, like a legit Mew, traded into their PC.
I thought,
how cool is that?
I thought they meant like a statue of Mew there for a second. I was about to say, holy shit, that's a bit big for a prize.
No. Right, so this is more your two's sort of specialty. So, what do we know about this game? Stone, other than the names, have you heard any of the crazy shit that we're going to be doing in Pokemon Sun and Moon next?
Other than the fact that they're probably going to be adding more Pokemon to an already like 720 something odd Pokedex.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's giving me a headache just thinking about having to go
generation
collect all of those
Pokemon.
again.
Yeah, one of the things is that before we started, I actually mentioned this, that I'm a big proponent of Generation 2, which is Silver, Gold, and Crystal. And if you actually look at that generation, most of the game mechanics we see in Gen 2 have actually just been replicated in every generation afterwards. I mean, breeding first turned up in 2, the Pokegear, which included the phone numbers thing, that started in 2, Shinies, that was new in 2 as well. The idea, there was like so many different things that first happened in Generation 2 that just...
Oh, but with the last game, they utterly killed Shinies. They made it.
Did they?
They made them so easy to get.
What, the
What's the point,
legendaries
then?
or shinies?
No, he's talking about Shinies.
The alternate
Sorry,
colorations
the
of Pokemon.
Discord call is cutting out.
They
for
made
me.
it based off of. They gave you a number, and if the Pokemon matched your number, then it was shiny.
Yeah.
But they made
They
made it in the newer games to where it's so much easier to get that number, and if you get that number on 2 of the same Pokemon, then you can breed the number through and just have an almost endless shiny Pokemon.
That's a bit silly. I mean, one of the things that I really liked, because again, I was never, when I played through it, I was just playing through it like you do. You know, it wasn't just, it wasn't like an optimized run or anything like that.
It wasn't a
And I remember. Oh fuck! Don't even start me with shit. But no, the point was when I played through Gen 2 originally, I played through it and it was me being normal. I wasn't trying to like EVs weren't even a thing I think at that point, and all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't breeding or anything like that because it was, expensive.
EVs showed up in Generation 3.
Well, the point is that in Gen 2 when I was playing through, when they introduced shiny Pokemon, do you remember how they did it? Because it's really quite cool. Okay, so the point I was making was that when they introduced it in Generation 2, how they did it was they had this event type thing. Now, it's not like a modern day event or even a daily event kind of a thing. There's an event in the story where there's this red Gyarados in the middle of a lake, and you have to swim out to it, and it's a shiny Gyarados. It's a red Gyarados. And the way it was introduced and the way that the story around that time, because there's like a little story that goes into why the red Gyarados was important, it's there on the wiki, but it's probably on Bulbapedia or something. But the point is that Lance, the previous like head of the Elite Four, is actually in this game. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And he's doing stuff, and you're like, wow, people being active. It's kind of like the anime. So they introduced shiny Pokemon in a way that felt like the anime, but you were playing through it. You even got to fight Team Rocket side by side with him. It was awesome. And then he goes, yeah, I'm totally gonna kick your ass if you ever come to the Elite Four, but I'll hopefully see you there, and then he buggers off. And then literally the next gym over, or like the next 2 gyms over, something like that, is the Dragon Trainer gym, which actually has Lance's sister in it, and it just felt like really connected. It was like you got to see Bill again. Bill is an actual story element from not just the first generation, but also he's in Gen 2, where he gives you the Eevee. Like, you don't, that's where you get given Eevee from and stuff like that. It was just good. It's just a solidly good game. There's like, it's why I'm such a big fan of Silver and Gold. Also because the way the legendaries were done in that was amazing. Like when you were trying to get the dogs, the 3 legendary dogs, you first had to weight them from stone. They would then run across the world. You would then have to find them in the random places where they were across the world. So you'd be flying around the world throwing ultra balls at these fucking dogs that would just run, and you're like, "You bastard, fucking get back here!" It was amazing, and the 2 legendary birds as well, pretty much. But the 2 legendary birds, which is Ho-Oh and Lugia, their individual areas are really cool as well. Like Ho is next to a temple that's burned down, and Lugia is inside this big cave thing, and they were the first sort of legendary specific. You could only get them in one game or the other. You could only get Lugia in Silver, and you could only acquire Ho-Oh in Gold. And it was like such a big thing at the time. It was amazing. I just loved all of that. This is me gushing about Pokemon.
Yes, yes, this is you gushing about Pokemon.
Memories. Anyway, so yeah, you said that they're probably going to be adding more Pokemon in. Is there any other confirmed game mechanics as of yet, like Pokemon falling behind or anything like that?
There's none
that I've seen so far, but there'll probably be more reported.
There is no known game mechanics right now. Somebody did a lot of freeze frames during the trailer, and got out a butt ton of info. They got everything from some concept art for a possible resort for Pokemon to a concept art of a 3rd new Pokemon.
Goodness gracious. Right,
Yeah.
well, let us move on to the main issue of the day, because this one's been a bit divisive between the 3 of us. We were discussing it before we came on, but Minecraft, after how long, is updating itself to version 1.9, and there's some big sweeping changes.
I hate 1.9.
Stone, do you want to tell us... well, we'll get onto that in a minute. Stone, do you want to tell us about the combat changes?
Most of the biggest combat changes are going to be these shields, and the fact that you can dual wield them with your sword, so you can actually fight with a sword and a shield, and incorporate more game mechanics into that. You can also
just so that nobody gets this wrong, when we're talking about dual wielding, it's not like you can wield 2 swords and attack with both of them, right? I mean, or can you attack only with 1 sword at a time, or what?
You can do both if I'm right, but it drains the stamina bar even faster.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
But more importantly, what a lot of players who do mining and stuff like that will use it for will be mostly to hold a torch in one hand and a pick in the other, and be placing torches while mining.
Now, we should say that the dual wielding mechanics that are coming through in 1.9 aren't exactly the same as the very famous dual wielding mods out there. Like torches don't automatically. I don't. Yeah, like they are very slightly different. There's also been one of the things that I read about was that I mean, I'm usually playing an archer, despite the fact I normally play a veggie campaign, believe it or not, because I am that sad of a bastard. But when I'm using bows and stuff like that, I always find that arrows are like a real problem. But I know they've changed the mechanics around that. Sonic, I think you told me about something that said there was enchantments for arrows or something now?
Enchantment for bows, I think there was a new one added, and they added potion effects to arrows, where you could dip the potion. You could dip the arrows into the potions, and like you could give an arrow the ability to poison someone, or do extra damage, or give somebody night vision. I have no idea why that would be necessary. Give them water breathing, why don't you? And it still does damage.
Well, that's really cool. Well, one of the other things as well that I noticed is they've changed some of the treasure stuff, right? This is some of the treasure rules have changed, and also there's now a new enchantment called Frostwalker, which is ridiculous. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah, it's cool, but it's a little bit overpowered once you get it.
Cool, really? On a AoE frost effect? Really?
No, that's so wrong.
I personally think that a lot of these changes are really cool, and I mean, we haven't even covered. Yeah, well, I mean, we've not even covered the biggest change, which is over the end.
Oh god!
Because there's been massive changes covering over the end. Stone, do you want to tell us a bit about? You were talking about your favorite item. Do you want to tell us about how you get that?
You have to go to the end defeat the Ender Dragon, and then after you defeat the Ender Dragon, you get portals to a modified end. And then you go through there, you find it's an end ship. It's like a literal ship in the end. It's just floating there.
Bring lots of cobblestone, guys.
Every single one of those that you find will have one of these items in it, and I think it'll be partially damaged when you find it. But what it does is it basically allows you to glide.
That's
after jumping.
Awesome. That's awesome. I think you have to like double tap space or something like that. But yeah, that's ridiculous. There's also been that new enemy introduced, the Shulker.
Yeah.
Have you seen what it
Shulker
does? Actually?
Looks absolutely awesome.
Yes, it hits you, and then you're those poor fools who don't have fall protection on their boots are going to float up into the air and then drop to the ground and die.
See, I was actually looking at some of the end towers, like the because that's the thing as well. We should mention that not only do there's now ships in the end after you defeat the Ender Dragon, there's also sort of like these houses type thing, and there's a new block which can be made from fruit, which appears also in the end. But in those towers, the new enemy, the Shulker, lives, and one of the things it does is, as you're saying, levitate. But a lot of the things is that I was looking in this end tower thing, and it's just there's no way up except by levitation. I think you're actually supposed to use them to get you up there, because when you're floating, there's not a huge amount you can do about it. So as long as you've got decent protection, you should be able to tank a whole bunch of these hits so that you can float up to where the treasure is at the top, and then you can
but the
glide down
problem
off
with
the
that
top
is
using
that
the
if you
elytra.
miss it, then you just fall.
You've got like 6 seconds, and they are effectively person-seeking missiles that the Shulker fires, which is pretty interesting.
One of the other
if
mechanics
you fall, they're not
that
going to
I
hit you before you can completely fall again.
One of the other mechanics that I think we should bring up is the stamina bar.
I like the stamina bar. I remember it before the stamina bar, but I like it.
I personally do not like it.
But the other thing as well that I was thinking about there, which we should mention, is the fact that now Dragon's Breath is something that can be applied to splash potions, allowing them to linger for a period of time, which is really cool. But the way you get it is really a pain in the arse, because you have to go up to a dragon with an empty bottle and gather up its breath, which means you can't kill the dragon and expect to use these effects. You are literally going to be farming the dragon's breath rather than the dragon for its XP.
Yep.
That's a little bit different. I like it, but it's a bit different.
It's going to be hard as all balls, too.
Oh god, yeah. Absolutely. This
Because
ridiculous.
someone's just going to bring like umpteen stacks of bottles to the end, and several chests.
If you build your base around one of the what are they called, the strongholds. If you build your house around one of those strongholds, you clear out all the crap from it. Then why not? Why not just farm it? I mean, by that point, you must have access to some pretty late game stuff. You'll have at least a diamond to your armor. You'll be fine. Just go in.
Yeah, but there's one problem.
Yeah.
Once you go into the end, you
What's
can't
that?
get out of the end unless by dying.
Bollocks. Right, so that's actually, but unless you've got some way of slash homing, I guess, on a server that would make sense. On a server that's doable, but
Well, there are
But on a
ways
private
of,
pure guff.
world,
There are
you're
ways
just
of
going to go in. You're just going to go into the end, and if you want any amount of stuff from this, you're literally going to bring like several stacks of empty bottles and a stack of chests, and you're going to attempt to not have all your chests destroyed by a dragon.
and you're also going to want to like make sure that on top of everything else, you've got healing potions, a pick, and a buttload of cobblestone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can see how much of a pain in the rear this is going to be.
I suppose they're kind of turning like the dragon into sort of more of a cooperative thing. Like, I think the thing to take away from it is that Minecraft now has a very distinct line between
PvE,
what content is designed
PvP.
for. Well, no, the way I describe it is more like there's parts of the content which people are obviously using for years as sort of creating, as like a creation toy type thing. We've seen that for years with things like the Yogscast do, like their Build It series and stuff like that, and that's great. But I think we've very much defined where the casual market of building toy ends and this is our game begins. So you might well find that this has been tailored towards servers where the admin doesn't immediately go through and kill the Ender Dragon, which would actually be more of a problem in this instance, I feel. So
there are servers like that.
This is. Yeah, they're very rare, but most servers the admin usually goes in and kills them straight away. It's like nope, and then they'll reset it when people want it. Yeah.
See, with the introduction of the new arrows, though, they're going to completely ruin PvP for everyone who uses it.
The thing is, though, is that the arrows you've got in your offhand are your dominant arrows, so you could actually have things like your poisonous arrows ready to go, rather than drawing at random.
I'm referring to spectral arrows.
Yeah, the spectral
arrows.
The spectral arrows
they hit you and
are
they
where
give you
if you get
glowing.
hit by them, yeah, you glow behind walls. You can be
you're outlined through
walls,
blocks, even if you're crouched.
Broken.
Yeah.
You might find that gets nerfed, or you might find there's going to be people will have like a hotfix for servers if they don't approve of it. They might just ban the item altogether.
Yeah. Plus, it's
if they don't, though, whoever doesn't ban it is just going to ruin PvP on their server forever.
If not, then
that's if the
spectral
server
arrows
even
will
engages
just
in
have to,
PvP.
If not, then spectral arrows will have to be extremely hard to craft.
Well, I mean, do we even know how to create that at the moment?
I haven't looked into the 1.9 updates in forever. I'm going off like 3-4 month old knowledge.
See, I'm looking at the stuff right now. I'm actually looking up. So, spectral arrow. It is... The tip is gold coloured. It doesn't actually say on here how to craft it.
And that means that it must have to be spawned in right now.
Well, obviously in the updates, like in the snapshots that they release, most of the time they spawn you in a predetermined area with stuff. But yeah, crafted by surrounding an arrow with 4 glowstone, and it only yields 2 arrows.
Yeah,
that's a bit expensive.
It's a bit expensive.
You surround one arrow with 4 glowstone, and you get 2 arrows.
Yeah, but you've just burnt 4 glowstone.
You just burnt an entire block.
You just doubled your arrows, though.
That gives you 2 arrows, and you've had to burn an entire block of glowstone on top of an arrow. If you think about that, there's a lot of work that goes into that. Glowstone dust is one of these things or glowstone in general is more rare than people realise. Like, there is a finite amount of it. It's much like there's a finite amount of coal, which is why I always set myself up like a sad bastard, so that I'm always burning charcoal, because it works just as fine as that. I used to play on Tekkit as well, actually, before Tekkit kind of exploded. I was very, very. I used to enjoy that a lot as well, because I would set up like it was when they still had transmuting and stuff in it like that. That's how long ago I'm talking about.
That's a long.
It was amazing. You can set it up so that you have coal being generated by the magical boxes, and that's being sucked out of a chest and being put into machines that are powering lava generators that are powering lava. What was it? It was powering lava run generators. So you'd have a lava generator and a lava run generator, and you could just about get it to work. And all you needed to start it off was like a bar of gold or something crazy. It was ridiculous, because as soon as 1 bar of gold went in, it produced more. It produced more coal going out than it did need energy going in, because you would set coal generators to drop coal. It was crazy. It was very, very dumb. It was very, very cool, but it's very, very dumb. So yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are going on a bit long and just rambling here. I think we should.
We should get on to the next topic.
Yeah, you were saying, Sonic, that you not just the spectral arrow. There was something else you said that was really annoying you, or was it just the spectral arrow?
It was the spectral arrow, the fact that they're adding so many new variants to weapons, and the stamina bar. I absolutely hate the stamina bar.
Generally speaking, or the specific changes they made this patch?
Just generally speaking, because
really,
once you've swung a weapon, it takes about a second or however long it takes for the individual weapon before you get the full damage the next hit.
Yeah, so like spamming punches doesn't really work. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's fine.
I think that it needs to be nerfed down a little bit. If it already has, then it already has. But if I'm right, if you spammed clicked a diamond sword, even with like sharpness 5 on it, you get maybe a heart's damage if you just spam clicked it.
Basically, they made a mod. They made a modification for the people who use kill aura hacks.
Or
kill aura hacks are just going to say no.
Or it's
to do much damage.
But it also nerfs the people that just click extremely fast.
Well, it's supposed to be encouraging certain gameplay mechanics. They don't want you to be swinging your sword really fast, so they're encouraging you to swing it slower so that you can get more effect out of it. And it comes down to the debate of if you're only getting, say, 1 heart's damage, like you're saying, you're swinging like if you're only getting 1 heart's damage, but you can inflict that like 5 times in a second. Honestly, I think I'm fine with that. It's sort of a you could be able to outdamage yourself eventually kind of a thing, or it'll be more of a because bear in mind you get a slight bit of knockback. It'd be more useful for things like that as well. I get you saying, but the idea is that they should be punishing people for spamming it because it means they can go up to somebody and just rattle off a whole bunch of buttons. Like they could rattle off a whole bunch of clicks and do a decent amount of damage otherwise.
God damn it,
I mean,
you're making me feel bad for using my play strategy.
Yes, your play strategy is bad and you should feel bad.
Ow, that's harsh.
Yeah, I am a harsh bastard sometimes.
Making
but
teenagers feel bad with Deus.
Yep, and that's the bottom line because Deus says so. But the other thing I think is really interesting is they've introduced Beetroot as well, which is awesome because I've explained this. Yep, it used to be from the Pocket Edition and it's now coming in. It spawns naturally in villages. And
back when I first started getting into Minecraft, it was when they first added Beetroot into Pocket Edition. It was the first type of Minecraft I ever got my hands on. It was glitchy as all hell when they first added it in.
I would point out, this is actually something that I should mention. The Pocket Edition is actually a considerably much more stable version of the entire game because it's not in Flash. Sorry, not in Flash, in Java. So anytime you do anything in Minecraft, oh, don't even joke about it. But anytime you play in Minecraft, you are running on an engine that is not designed to do any of the things it does. Like, Java is not designed to do that level of complexity. They have had to do a lot of very dodgy things. That's why Minecraft is so buggy. It's not because it's big, it's because it's doing something the code is not literally meant to do.
Yeah.
But the new Beetroot is quite interesting because by itself it restores 1 hunger. It spawns naturally in villages, which means it's a good one for people who like to spawn themselves around villages because you can use it to create rose red dye, which, I mean, hey, for your dye, it's not bad. It can also be used to make beetroot soup, which restores 3 hunger as well, which is really good.
Yeah.
It's crafted from 6 beetroots in a bowl.
Just kill and cook a chicken.
Yeah, but I play veggie campaigns. That's what I think I was going to explain. I like to do it because I think it makes the game harder and more realistic. I feel like Minecraft for me is a role-playing experience where I am that person. So when I'm doing that, I play through like I would do myself, where I go, right, where's the coal, where's some bread, and just shove a whole bunch of bread into my mouth. I eat a lot of bread anyway.
Shove a whole bunch of bread into my mouth. I am going to make that into a meme now. I'm going to Photoshop a loaf of bread entering your face.
No, you're not. You're too busy. You've got other things to worry about. But the other thing as well is that it's just nice that they're still adding stuff. Right, it's just nice that they're still adding stuff this late into development as the game as itself. So, at least we know that Microsoft taking over hasn't necessarily been a net negative. If this is the only thing they ever do, then to be honest, it's not a bad note to go out on.
Yeah,
I never thought it was going to get to 1.9, even when I played in beta.
Yeah,
1.7. Yeah.
One of the things that I should point out about what happened after Microsoft took over is that now they're trying to enforce the EULA a whole lot more, which means servers that offer buyable ranks that give in-game boosts, those are going to be removed soon. Otherwise,
well, that's really good,
the
actually.
servers are going to get removed.
Yeah, no. I think that's much better.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think it's fair that you can just go on. It's like I play a lot of free-to-play games. You guys know that.
Yeah.
I do play a lot of free-to-play games, but at the end of the day, I don't like it when somebody who's only been in the game for 2 minutes decides to just dump like 50 quid or like $60
Yeah.
Into a game, and immediately it makes them god tier amazing.
Yeah, one of the servers that I used to work on...
Pay to win.
Yeah, one of the servers that I used to work on, they had a rank called, I think it was Inferior God or something. Either way, it was $250-something, and the only thing that it didn't give you access to was /kick, /ban, and /mute.
What?
It was $250.
Stone, have you ever heard of anything that crazy?
This server owner was an idiot.
Before.
See, the thing is, right? Now you were saying
being that fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the other thing as well is that from a different game perspective, I've actually seen private servers actually work out quite well. Before Blade and Soul got released in English, which is, in my opinion, a significantly worse game to the version I played, which was a translation of the Russian copy into English, but it still had the nice Asian voice actors, which was really cool. But anyway, the point was that when I played on that server, one of the things that was really awesome about it was that if you, because they didn't have to pay, didn't have to do the amount of nonsense that NCSoft was doing, or wherever was representing them out there, they didn't have to charge as much for the premium items. So they couldn't change the values because they were the base values were sort of defined by the games masters that they get the copy from. So what they did was they said, right guys, we need to pay for the server, pay us like $3 and here's like 40 quid's worth of premium content in your hand. We don't care. We really don't care. We've already got this content. We don't care.
So
the Russian server... Yeah, so basically one of my mates who was playing it, mate Murray, he got into it, dropped like $4 within the first couple of days, and it was like, yeah, I just wanted to help the server. I mean, now that I've got basically a 6 months effective subscription for free, even though it was a free-to-play game, there's like a secondary tier of better rewards, like just mini buffs. Not a big thing, but he had that. So he was sitting there with his premium account, and he didn't care, because he had like 6 months worth on it for like $5. It was pretty ridiculous. Anyway, we've rambled, I think, a little bit too long on such nonsense. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I have. Thank you very much, Stone, for joining us this week. If you can be bothered to put up with us, you are more than welcome to come back.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
I'll consider it.
Well, in that case then, thank you very much to you, Stone. Thanks very much from me for you guys listening in.
Yeah,
Sonic?
Thanks guys for listening. Thanks Stone for joining us. Thanks Joan for stoning us.
Indeed. You're renowned for throwing small stone objects. Anyway, no. In all seriousness, thank you very much for listening. I have been Deus. He has been Sonic.
Yay.
And this has been a mess. Thank you very much for listening. We'll hopefully hear you next week.
Bye, guys.
Later.